Good morning. It is Monday, January 27th, 2019, and it's time for the Monday News Brief. Hey, and welcome to another edition of the Monday News Brief brought to you by CDT-TV, a part of the Central Dakota Times. This is a weekly web series where we address one of the current events going on in Central South Dakota. I'm your host, Nate Iverson, and in this week's episode, we're joined by Chamberlain School District Superintendent Dr. Deb Johnson. Dr. Johnson is going to be breaking down some of the school board activities happening in the month of July, as well as what you can expect in the near future for February, March, and into the rest of 2020. Also, if you enjoy this content, be sure to check out more of what we have to offer at www.centraldakotaTimes.org. We're also available on our YouTube channel by searching Central Dakota Times newspaper and hitting the subscribe bell, and also on Facebook by dropping us a like at Central Dakota Times. And as always, be sure to pick up your very own copy of the Central Dakota Times newspaper every Wednesday morning wherever newspapers are sold in Central South Dakota. Let's get to the interview. Hey, Dr. Johnson.
Yes.
Another month gone.
Another month almost. Yes.
I know it, right?
Yeah, it goes fast.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and start talking about some of the stuff going on in the district. First things first, there's some dates to remember that have been set. Elections.
Yes.
Always important.
Yep. June 2nd, the school district will be having the school board election along with Brule, Buffalo, and Lyman counties, and the cities of Chamberlain and Puckwana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So those will be at the courthouse with everything else, or?
Yeah, they should be. Well, people will know where they need to vote. So
oh, okay.
We
Gotcha.
won't go into, there's different places.
Good to know. And special meetings have been scheduled in February.
Yes, there are two special meetings scheduled. One is February 6th and the other is February 18th.
Okay.
And those are executive sessions, and it has to do with the superintendent search.
Oh, gotcha. So those are aside from regular school board meetings.
Right, those are aside from regular board meetings.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the big one to remember is June 2nd elections. It'll also be a little warmer.
Yes.
So it's all good. Okay, let's just start with this month is a new month for the strategic plan. Mm-hmm. And so let's maybe recap a little bit of December, which was fiscal responsibility. I know we talked at the beginning of December and there wasn't much, as far as activity with the Christmas break and such. But was there any, big discussions or major changes to that section?
No, not to that section right now. We're always trying to. Right now, we're looking at setting up the budget for next year.
Okay.
And so just trying to put some of those things into place based on what the fiscal plan is telling us to have a balanced budget, those kinds of things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then this month is staff professional development. This sounds like a good one. What can you...
Yeah. I did let the board know that we've had more staff development this year than we have had in the past. Mm-hmm. Partly because we have some funding to do that, but also because of increased safety and security measures. For example, one thing you'll see the administrators walking around with walkie-talkies in addition to our phones.
Sure.
Is another way that we have access to each other if we need to in case of an emergency. And then just some needs of the staff to help assist students. And we've talked about our positive behavior intervention supports, and that's one of the things that we've been doing. Also, we have had trainings on autism, dyslexia, behavior, and then we have a speaker coming in on Monday when the teachers are not, or when the students are not in school. For Jimmy Casas, we've done a book study of his, and he will be our speaker for Monday. So we do a lot of training here at school, but we also encourage our teachers to go out. And so some have visited other schools, and others have gone to different workshops. So it's been a very good year for professional development.
Sure.
Yeah.
And for people that might not know what that is, that's more or less going out and attending seminars and things.
Training for staff, what they need to be better teachers or administrators.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they can do things basically in their own field or in their own area of study, and then the district also hosts.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Good little point of clarification.
Yes,
so,
yeah, that's right.
Are there any changes or anything planned for that section in the future?
No, I just wanted to highlight all of the different things that we had done this year.
Okay.
Keep going in that direction.
Perfect.
Meeting the needs of the staff.
Right.
Yeah.
Can never have enough training, right?
Well, I guess not.
Never stop learning.
We have a lot of people that attend our sessions, so we're thankful for that.
Cool. All right. Elementary school improvement. This was something we briefly touched on in December. There was an action plan that was going to be attempted to be approved.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about the action plan and what the improvement is itself?
Sure. The plan has been sent to the state, and so what we're looking for from the state, of course, is some funding to be able to do this. And there are 2 actions that they want to take at the elementary school. One of them is for professional development focused on instructional strategies, and then the behavior plan, which is part of the positive behavior interventions and supports. And then they believe that by doing the professional development, classroom instruction effectiveness and student outcomes will improve. And then in the other area of behavior, students and staff will feel safe and then have a sense of belonging. So that's the main crux of the plan.
Okay. And then just to kind of refresh or talk a little bit about the history of it, the improvement plan came as a result of, was it state testing, or was this something planned beforehand?
Well, the elementary school was put on a school improvement. That's not specifically what it's called. And so because of that, we are able to receive some extra funds to do some unique things in the elementary school. So it was based on test scores.
Okay.
And the school being placed on school improvement.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the action plan was approved?
We haven't heard yet.
Oh, gotcha.
We're anxiously waiting that.
All right. Well, now we have something to talk about next month. I'm going to put a little
Put a
check
star
mark on
by
that
that.
one. This one can probably be touched on pretty quickly. Playground proposal.
Okay, so at the elementary school, there are 2 different playground pods, I guess you could say. So this is the one that is on the east side of the playground that has the equipment there. I think it's blue and white.
Sure.
But what we need to do is resurface it. We're not talking about putting new actual equipment. That is in good shape. We can always add to it if we need to. But we need to do something with the base when children fall or when they run and scrape their knee, whatever it happens to be. We have several drainage issues in that area. And so we are going to hire Coke Hazard, the architects that we work with a lot through our school projects, to help us with that. So the board authorized the administration to work with Coke Hazard on all phases of the project. That's going to cost the district approximately $5,500.
Okay.
So the board hasn't actually spent any money yet on the playground per se, the facility itself or the area, but we'll be looking for that in the future. And PTO has been raising money over the last 2 years. It looks like they have about $17,000 to put toward the project.
Okay.
So it should be ready for school next year, just when it starts.
Cool.
Yeah.
And knock on, if there is particle wood under there, that 17,000 covers that.
Well, it won't.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's a portion. I believe
it helps.
The entire cost is going to be approximately $75,000.
Sure.
Yeah. It costs quite a bit to do what we need to do in terms of safety and drainage.
A lot of earthwork, I suppose.
Yep.
So, okay. Policy readings, there were only 2, and one of them was being wrapped up yesterday at the board meeting. So just really quick, the reading of the drama lettering and the reading of the memorialization.
Yeah.
These are both in their multiple reading stages. Were those passed, or any changes made to those?
Well, the drama letter, that was the second reading, so the board will look at that next time. And the board did have a discussion for the memorialization policy. It was not approved last night. I didn't have it in that bottom section, so I just need to put it on next time. But they are in support of it.
Okay.
So I did have an error when I put together my board highlights for the staff. So
Gotcha.
Our business manager noted that. So good. I'm glad she caught it.
So awesome. But there was no major changes.
No,
or anything
both of them were pretty much the same as they were.
All right. This was something I know we talked about. It would have probably been in July with earlier the preschool was closed,
yes.
Treehouse was closed,
Yep.
and then you talked about a work group for preschool and early childhood education. And in that discussion, we talked about the district maybe having a preschool or just at least researching that, and you wanted to do a work group on that. Yesterday, it was in the minutes that you reported on that. What'd you find?
Yep. Well, Valerie Nelson, our elementary kindergarten teacher, was the spokesperson for the group. I introduced the study that we did, or the research that we did, and then we invited all the members of the group to come too if they wanted to have a discussion with the board. But what we found out, these are the areas that we talked about. Estimated number of children to be served, which would be about 95. We're talking about 4-year-olds. This would be available for all of those students who will be going to our school district. Available space options, we really don't have anything within the facility, so talked about a governor's home and had some money options in there. Possible tuition costs, transportation costs, scheduling options, the amount of certified staff and classified staff that would need to be used, probably 2 teachers, 3 preschool paras, and the approximate cost to fund a preschool would be about $397,000. So the work is not done yet. The board wanted to know what some of the future steps would be. So I recommended that when they talk about a facility study, that it be put in there, maybe diversifying the group a little bit more, bringing the group back together, and trying to hit some of these areas head on as to, is it going to be a possibility for the district or not? It certainly isn't this next fall, but in the future it could be.
Okay.
But space is a huge issue for that one.
Right. One of the other things we talked about last semester, I believe in November, was the math curriculum was below average on the state testing or the standardized testing, and there was some research and some plans to improve the math program. What were some of the findings on that?
Well, we aren't done yet with our math curriculum committee. We've been meeting since October.
Okay.
And the teachers have done a review of their standards. And the teachers do a tremendous amount of work outside the meeting sessions. Our meetings are only about an hour long, and then they report back. But they do a lot of work outside the meetings. They look at what we're missing in our curriculum according to the standards, the resources that are available to help with those gaps, and also the series that may be available to use. And so when we meet Monday, we are going to be talking about narrowing down the series options.
Okay.
And we have several webinars scheduled with company reps from these series. And Dr. Diane Olson, who is our reading and math consultant, has put those together, and we will be looking at webinars for the series. So the main work of the group will be done probably about April, but there's still a ways to go.
Right. And so is that something you foresee? I mean, obviously you won't be here next year, but just as a guess, is that something you probably see changes to next semester?
Well, we hope that, we're going to have some training for the staff too this summer with the series, and hopefully we'll be able to figure out where those gaps are and how we can provide extra resources or have a series that will address those standards better than what we have right now.
Right. Cool. Well, I put another star. April, you're getting that question again. So.
Okay.
All right.
Should be done by then.
Perfect. There was this is a nice little piece of good news, $8,900 donation.
Yes, the Schoenhardt Foundation donated $8,900 to the district, and then they give us a list of how they would like it divided among certain groups. And so we will be working with that through the business office. But they are generous every year to the school district, and we really sincerely thank them for that donation.
So we talked a little bit about this, and you just kind of briefly touched on it for about 30 seconds in November. There was nothing super out of the ordinary with the audit report.
Nope, the findings came back really good. So we have a booklet that has the entire audit report in it. Those are in the business office, and those are available if anyone would like to look at it. It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of numbers.
Super fun to comb through. Okay. And looking toward farther down the list here, staffing update.
Okay. Well, right now, before we had resignations at the board last night, we had our 6 through 12 music in our superintendent position. And then last night the board had 2 resignations. They accepted Hannah Harbor's resignation, 6th grade math, and Nancy DeBoer, our assistant business manager, who has served the district for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right on. So
a well-deserved retirement is coming, yes.
Cool. So those are the only staffing. And there's also a para, right, in the kindergarten? Not the kindergarten, the elementary.
Not on this one. Oh, okay. We don't know.
General.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're going to fill that right now.
Okay.
It just depends on the needs of our students, and right now we're sitting good with the amount of paras that we have working with our kids.
Cool.
So we're probably not going to hire that one for this school year unless needed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I might make a cut in there somewhere too. We'll see how that looks on the film.
All right.
All right. And then moving down from the staffing update, this wasn't on the agenda this time, but maybe just checking back from a couple weeks before. Any principals reports?
We didn't do that this time. They only would have been in school 4 days before
Okay.
they had to submit their report to me. So I said we'll wait till February.
Gotcha. There's a star on that one.
Yes.
Superintendent's report. This is all you.
Yes. Oh, it was short. It's usually short. I did the calendar, talked a little bit about Jesse Dunaway, a former teacher who worked with our vocal students who are in the contest over break.
Okay, very cool.
He's in a master's degree program, and he came back and helped our kids, so we really appreciated that. We have a request for a parent safety meeting. We did this a couple years ago where I highlight what happens, in the district, and then a science fair invitation to the school board.
Oh, cool.
So that's it.
Sounds good. And then finally, are there any dates or any events or anything coming up in the near future that students, staff, public members, or members of the community can expect to see?
I think the activities are just really busy during January and February.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you'd like to go to, whether it be something, gymnastics, there's a play coming up on the 25th, the one-act play. We have lots of region contests, vocal and wrestling, I know, is also on that, is coming up too. But that, I guess, that's in February also. So we just have a lot of activities.
Sure.
And then after that, of course, we get more toward the graduation, the end of the year celebrations, those kinds of things.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we bug Mr. Kurtz now on the first of every month with the activities.
Okay.
So
All right.
That's all good. Anything else to add before we wrap it up for the month?
I don't think so. That's good.
All right, cool. Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Yes, thanks.
Hey, thanks for joining us for yet another edition of the Monday News Brief, brought to you by CDT-TV, a part of the Central Dakota Times. I'm your host, Nate Iverson, and until next week, have a good one.